How to know when love fades away in your marriage? How do you know when it is time to stay or leave a romantic relationship? Today, we will talk about the fear of uncertainty and how to deal with your emotional pain when love is fading away in your relationship. And of course, I will give you some tips at the end of this episode to either reconnect in your relationship or recover from the emotional pain of separation. Listen. Listen carefully. Not only to this episode, listen carefully to your inner voice. Let's start. Living in harmony is possible if you know your emotions and how to handle them. I am Dr. Carmen Roman, and I will share with you the current psychology by interviewing experts or just sharing myself. Learn how to live a life of fullness and how to recover your emotional harmony. Welcome to this podcast, Emotions in Harmony. Hey, this is Carmen Roman. I am a clinical psychologist and I have been working with couples for the last 30 years. And before we start this episode, I want to remind you that we have available for you to download for free my personal list of 30 habits to practice when you experience stress. See the link in the show notes. Now, back to our topic. The lack of love of your partner may surprise you in one of the aha moments you may have in the middle of the night or while driving. The truth is, the fading of love is not a spontaneous response. It actually occurs silently over time. The realization is the one that may come to you all of a sudden. To avoid being surprised, you could monitor your love and nurture it on a daily basis. Then, you will be able to notice when you are no longer interested in the person and their experiences. When you no longer see them as something new and fascinating in your life. When your soul no longer smiles when you see your partner. Or when you get annoyed because it did something in the house. You get the idea. This is not to be confused with the daily hustle and bustle, especially when you have small children. The first 10 years of your children is really hard for a couple. Or with the numbness that brings high levels of stress or emotional detachment from previous trauma. That's something different. That's you in this moment and your incapacity to feel positive emotions. That requires the list of 30 practices that I told you and possibly going to individual therapy. Now, you may not hear or see the things of love fading away because you are afraid of changing what is known, afraid of entering a new phase of your life, or the social, financial, and emotional changes that a separation brings. Nothing is more painful than a divorce, and yet we pay little attention to what it takes to prevent it. If you are no longer in love with your partner, you may still care for them and wish them no harm. I have worked with couples who are in the process of divorce and care deeply for each other's well-being, even if they are very angry. They may just not know how to express their feelings properly. Why would my love fade away, you may ask? The initial excitement of a relationship slows down and is replaced by the comfort of everyday interactions. It would be weird if we need to be as nervous about what to wear to see our partner as we were the first 3 dates. It will be very inconvenient. Being ourselves with no filters or makeup is not bad. It is actually a good sign that we are comfortable in the relationship. And this doesn't mean that we won't still have a date with our partner and we can dress up for each other and have fun. Many couples just don't know how to move from this initial and very exciting phase of being enchanted by each other into a deep love that carries the relationship during difficult moments. This is an idea from Dr. Gary Chapman, who is a couples counselor and an author of the book The Five Love Languages: The Secret to Love That Lasts. I highly recommend this book if you are struggling in your relationship. Dr. Chapman did a very good job in giving you advice. In my experience, in 30 years working with couples, I have found that it is inevitable that your needs change as you are evolving in the relationship. We are humans in constant evolution after all. However, if you are not too savvy about expressing your needs, as time passes and you wait until you have only anger and resentment left, it will be easier to think that it was the other who does not care for you. The problem here is that you may not question yourself about your own changes and how they may affect your relationship because of being afraid of the uncertainty it may bring. Okay, Dr. Akarman, you may ask me, how do I cope with this uncertainty? Here are 3 useful tips that can help you work on regaining love in your relationship. Number 1, take time to acknowledge the idea of change. Although it seems scary, if you take time to listen to that inner voice that is trying to say something, you may actually have time to fix whatever is going on in your relationship. Please provide the resources you need for yourself and your partner. If this uncertainty is unsettling, this will be the time to go to individual therapy. It is not fair to ask your partner to help you in this phase. If this is already a well-formed idea and you have a hard time discussing with your partner that you want to leave in a very healthy and constructive way, this is the time to attend couples therapy. Number 2, try being positive and appreciating of every detail of what your partner does for you. Really, try for a couple of weeks. Sometimes we numb ourselves with business or the idea that it is our partner's obligation to do what they do. Being grateful may ease our sensitivity to feel love again. It's not that the other person doesn't love you or doesn't do nice things for you. It may be that you are not taking time to appreciate and take in all of these signs of appreciation. For example, if, I don't know, I will say Petra, if Petra does the breakfast every day for her husband, and her husband every day wash the dishes, and they don't say thank you to each other, they may just be going on life like thinking this is what it is, and they may be thinking, I'm lonely, nobody cares for me, but these little acts of love are really a communication of love. So look around in your marriage how your partner express love for you and how you express love for your partner. Number 3, learn how to communicate your needs in the appropriate time and manner. It is your responsibility to have your emotional and physical needs met. Hoping your partner would guess what you need is not an option. Expressing your needs clearly will give you more chances to be heard. And be careful. Remember, not every request would or should be fulfilled. It is a negotiation process. Sometimes when I work with couples and she says, I wanted flowers, but because I asked for the flowers, that doesn't count anymore because I need to tell him when I need the flowers. It counts, my dear, because you could ask and the person say, I don't care. I don't even want to bring you flowers, But when you ask, the person say, thank you. Thank you for letting me know how to make you feel loved. So I am going to bring the best flowers I can. See, this is an act of love. it counts. Vice versa. If your partner say, please do that for me, you happily do it, and they say, no, you don't love me, you will feel like it is unfair. You did what they requested, yeah? You get the idea. What to do if your marriage falls apart or your relationship falls apart? Here are 2 tips. Number 1, be frank with yourself if it is time to leave. Prolonging a marriage or a relationship that is not working will lead to resentment and frustration in both parts. So you can avoid many conflicts, emotional and financial burnout, if you are brave to leave when it is needed. It is okay to ask for a separation period for both of you to figure things out. I recommend setting a time frame for a separation if that is the case. Nobody likes or deserves to be in limbo for months or years. Number 2, do the work if you want to feel love again. Maybe not with this partner, maybe in the next relationship. By the way, I always suggest when you finish a relationship, take a good amount of time before you enter in the next one. 1 year or 2 years before you enter in the next one. Why? Because you have work to do. Your personal work to do. It's like having a party, yeah? You have an amazing party and then people leave and you cannot enter the next party. You cannot host the party immediately after. You need time for the house to be beautiful again. This is the idea. So, in this time, you do your work. It may not be this partner. I told you that you may not go back to this partner, but if you are not engaging fully in life due to an existential crisis, high stress, or any other factor, and you do not do your work to recover your zest for life, you will miss the wonderful effects in your existence. You will be not suitable for the next relationship. How to do your work? Well, you can go to therapy, do a spiritual practice, get near to your religion, whatever is for spiritual and emotional growth for you. Okay, we have discussed the fading of love and how you can work with that realization. I hope the tips I gave you are useful to you. Thank you for listening, and remember, if you are experiencing stress, I created the list that helps me to manage my stress. They are 2 very practical suggestions for dealing with stress in your life. Bye for now. We have reached the end of another episode of the podcast Emotions in Harmony. See you the next week. Visit www.emotionsinharmony.org, where you can subscribe to our newsletter, find the notes, and be in direct contact with me. Thanks for listening.